Galactic Ground Council. Day 1. My fellow Encodians and I have the unfortunate pleasure of sitting next to the humans. Their table, a whole 8 feet from us, carries a smell so dense, it's a wonder a predator could evolve with such a red flag for their prey. After today's meeting, I mustered the strength, as a show of goodwill, to speak to one of the humans, but found when they open their mouths to speak, they emit an even more foul smell. I tried to bring this to his attention through gags and watery lenses, but found it rather difficult. When I had finally managed the feat, the human seemed concerned, and reassured me that he did, in fact, brush his teeth this morning, whatever that means. I resign myself to never again speaking to these creatures, if I can. Day 2. A human stood to object to some motion on the floor. I'm a bit unsure to what he was objecting, because, admittedly, I wasn't really paying attention. I've been spending the morning staring with hatred in my eyes at the humans. But wait, what is that human doing? I saw a human making markings on his notebook, with a primitive writing utensil. I tried to glance over without being noticed, but I couldn't see what he was doing without getting up. I played it off, pretending to go to the restroom, and finally saw it. It was an extremely detailed drawing of the floor speaker. This human had been contributing to the conversation whilst depicting, in detail, the Factosian speaker. A bit anatomically incorrect around the lower appendages, but fascinating nonetheless, as he managed to capture the sapient's essence, even how she holds her primary manipulator when she makes her points. After today's meeting, I spent hours pulling up pictures of human artwork. I found an interesting genre devoted to humans, creating art, whilst performing another complicated task. Humans seem to have an ability, at least with doodling, to multitask. Okay, they can do one cool thing. Doesn't make me hate them any less, I thought. Oh, if only I could go back in time. Day 3. Again, I spent this morning staring at the humans. I noticed one human stand and begin speaking, when prompted to by his peers. This human at one point balancing on 2 legs, which is minorly impressive for foul creatures such as they are. He lifted one leg and used the foot at the end to scratch the other leg, all while speaking and bringing up points and laws from his home planet. I thought this had to be the extent of the creature's skill and balance, but when we took a recess, I spent my lunch break watching videos of humans balancing with heavy objects on various mediums, such as ropes, bowling pins, ice, and the more dangerously, rollerblades, many performing other complicated tasks such as dancing, juggling, or one was painting. One painted a picture while balancing on a rope. It was an impressive display of skill and technique, unachievable by Encodians or any other species I know of. After today's meeting, I spent an accumulative 4 hours researching the human inner ear. They use their ears to balance. Okay, this is fascinating, I admitted, rather begrudgingly. Day 4. I again stared at the humans, still with hatred in my blood pumping organ, but a tamed hatred. Sure, they still fill the room with fumes, but I think I'm beginning to get used to it. However, one human incessantly tapped his feet rhythmically, and I felt my disdain grow stronger until I realized what he was doing. He was making music, casually, listening to the conversation and keeping rhythm. An extended lunch break was spent immersed in human music. As the day's meeting concluded, I approached the foot-tapping human, disregarding the stench from the human's mouth. The humans have impressed me, and I simply had to know more. This human happily divulged his hobbies to me, one of which was being a drummer for something called a garage band. I looked into this human's eyes as he spoke, gesturing to and fro and bouncing with happiness. I must have been the first alien species he was able to connect to over his favourite pastime. I felt a real connection, a bridge between our species. A true happiness to be in the presence of someone with unmatched skills. But something went wrong. Something always goes wrong when humans are involved. He took a break from his excited human speak and sipped from his water, immediately trying to speak again, but instead he stopped and began to make a scene. People passing in the hallway paused and stared. The human hunched over, and his face turned red for a moment. Clearly a threat display, I mused. Water from his mouth sprayed out at me, and I felt my skin tingle as diluted digestive enzymes begin their work on my flesh with no hesitation. The human is trying to attack me, I thought, frozen in fear. It began convulsing and barking loudly. I dropped to my knees and begged for my life. I am sorry for offending you. Spare me! Spare me! I could hear the hallways empty, as people fled for their lives from this clearly agitated predator. Not that it would do any good. A human could run any one of them down before attacking another. But then, there was silence. Sorry, I swallowed water wrong. What? Yeah, went down the wrong tube. All better now. Anyway, we have a new song we've been working on. I couldn't believe it. To think I was won over by a stinky ape that could do a few tricks, but can't even swallow water right. I stood back up, stunned, and felt my hatred growing, intensified by the human's acidic spit, and my sense of smell returning.